Eighth graders, we're so happy to have you join us today. My name is Rob Stelmar. I am the lead counselor at Brea Olinda High School. I'm joined by our other counselors who will be introduced shortly. Thank you for attending the first of 3 assemblies on course selection. These are very important meetings, so please pay attention and hang in there with us. They won't be very long. First off, your cameras and your microphones are not on, so we don't see you and we can't hear you. And this session is being recorded, so you can refer back to it if you need to. There is a Q&A opportunity for you. So if you do have any questions, 2 of the counselors will be answering your questions through the Q&A application on this Zoom. So please type your questions in there. And without any further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Mrs. Kessel, who will take you through the first part of today's presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stelmar. Okay. Hey, future Wildcats, we hope you're doing well, and we can't wait to have you on our campus this fall. As Mr. Stelmar said, I'm Mrs. Kessel, one of the Brea Olinda High School counselors, and I'm here with Mrs. Jansen today, and we're going to share with you some information you need to know before you come up to the high school. So I'll start by introducing all the counselors. So Mr. Stelmar is the lead counselor, and he has the part of the alphabet A through E. And I am Mrs. Kessel, and I have F to L-E-E. And then there's Mrs. McDonald, and she has L-E-G through R-E. And then Mrs. Cormier and Mrs. Jansen actually share the end of the alphabet, R-H through Z. So we are your counselors. So next I'm gonna talk, oh, sorry, this is Mrs. Jansen's turn, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. So a couple of the things that we are going to talk about today, Mrs. Kessel is going to go over our Brea Olinda High School graduation requirements. So hopefully by the end of our presentation, you'll have a little bit of a working knowledge base of what those requirements are. And then I'm going to go over our career technology education pathways. So hopefully by the end of our presentation, you'll also be able to identify or be familiar with our 6 CTE pathways that we offer here at the high school. Next week, Mrs. Cormier and Mrs. McDonald are going to go over the 4-year college requirements. So they're going to kind of do a review of that and discuss that with you. And the following week, Mr. Stelmar is going to talk about your academic plan, prepping you for 9th grade. So lots to learn over the next couple weeks.
Okay, so I'm going to start by talking about our graduation requirements. This is basically what you guys need to do in order to graduate from our high school. So just like Brea Junior High, we're on the semester system. So a semester class is actually worth 5 credits. So a year-long class would be worth 10. So if you look at the very first one, English Language Arts, it's 40 credits. That means you have 4 years of English. Next is math, and you'll have 3 years of math. PE, 2 years of PE, and you can meet that a lot of different ways. You don't just have to take regular PE. There's weight training, there's dance, there's sports. 2 of the choirs, masquerade and spellbound count for PE, marching band. There are a lot of different ways, pageant and percussion. Then we all have 5 credits of health that you'll have to take. In 10th grade, it'll be world history or AP European history for 1 year. Junior year, US history, 10 credits, 1 year. Then this is the tricky one. So this is 1 year of a fine art or a foreign language or a CTE class. 1 year of one of those things will fulfill this requirement. So technically, you don't have to take a foreign language to graduate from Brea Olinda High School. That being said, if you're planning to go straight to a 4-year college, you will have to take at least 2 years of a foreign language in the same language with C's or better. So that's that. Science, we have a 3-year science requirement. Your senior year for social studies, you'll have 1 semester of government, 1 semester of economics. And then we get to the elective credit. Okay, 65 credits of electives. And you guys might be thinking, oh my gosh, how am I gonna meet that? That is so many. What am I gonna do? Okay, the good news is As long as you're taking 6 classes every semester, all, you're going to fit in all those requirements for the big number of 230. That's how many credits you need in order to graduate. So for the electives, anything that you take that is above and beyond the minimum requirements that you see here, it's going to fall into elective credit. So if you take 4 years of your sport, the last 2 years are going to count under elective credit. If you take 4 years of math, and that 4th year could be our highest math, AP Calculus BC. And for us, it's going to count as elective credit. So anything academic, anything that you don't think is academic is elective, they will all fall under elective credit if you go above and beyond the minimum requirements. So the magic number is 230. That's how many credits you need in order to graduate. You can graduate with more credits, but there's there's no price for that, but you can definitely do that. We have a lot of students that graduate with more than 230 credits. Okay, so those are the graduation requirements. What you guys need to know too is up here at the high school, you have to pass your classes. If you don't pass a class, if you were to fail a class, you have to make it up in order to graduate. We don't promote you, you don't get to graduate if you don't pass all the classes. So basically, we have summer school available. We have different ways of making up the credits if you need it, but please work hard to pass your classes first time around. All right. Now it'll be Mrs. Jansen talking to you about CTE.
All right. So I know that was a lot of numbers and information about classes, but all of this is to make sure that you're prepared for picking your classes in the next month or so for your 9th grade year. So I'm going to talk about CTE, which is kind of an exciting piece, I think, of high school. There are some really neat classes that you're going to have the opportunity to take or continue on with from classes you've taken at Brea Junior High. So what is CTE? Career Technical Education. It's a mix of academics with some practical hands-on learning to prepare you for the world beyond high school in a specific industry or kind of sector. Something that's kind of unique about our CTE classes is that those teachers, they have experience working in that industry. So for example, we have our BITA pathway, which I know you have down there at Brea Junior High. That teacher, he also works currently in construction. So he has like firsthand knowledge of what's going on in that industry to really bring back to the classroom. So that's kind of unique to all of our pathways. So what are industry sectors? You're going to hear a lot about this when we talk about the different pathways that we offer throughout your time here in high school. So basically an industry sector, it's like a grouping of multiple career pathways within the same course of study. So our patient care pathway is clearly in a different sector than our construction pathway. And I know some of you might be wondering, like, why should I be interested in completing a CTE pathway? Why would it be of interest to me? These are just a few key points for you to remember and to think about. If you're within a CTE pathway, you have the ability to earn college credit in some of our classes. So some of our classes are articulated with local community colleges. This means if you take up certain classes and you get a certain letter grade, you might have the opportunity to earn community college credit for that class that you took at Brea Olinda High School, which is pretty cool. All of our courses meet the CSU UC A through G requirements. So they either fulfill your G elective credit bucket or your F visual and performing art requirement that you need to get into a four-year university. It provides you with the opportunity to kind of create your own plan, matching some of your own college and career goals. And I always tell students that like this is a time to experiment and take different classes to learn about what you might be interested in studying in your life beyond high school. I know that seems so far away for you right now in 8th grade, but it will be here before you know it. And this is a time to kind of figure out, am I interested in the medical field or maybe in graphic design or a little bit of both? And that's something that's unique about Brea is you have the opportunity to kind of experiment with different pathways and classes while you're here. So specifically here at the high school, the classes that we offer We have a graphic design pathway. And so this includes 2 courses, digital design and visual communications. So I know one thing that's a little bit different than at the junior high is most of our classes are a year long. So digital design you could take as a 9th grader, but you would take it for the whole school year. You wouldn't change at second semester. So if you take these 2 classes, you're completing the graphic design pathway. And the students in this pathway, they do a lot of neat work with the computer and creating different graphics and things for t-shirts. And they get to enter some competitions for creating the front pamphlet for like brochures and flyers and different things like that. We have cinematic arts. So this includes art of video production and video production 1. So it's again 2 courses within this pathway. And I know Mr. Jolliffe has a really great video production class down there. So those of you who have taken that class might be interested in following that up here. We also have culinary arts, so culinary 1 and culinary 2, and those are recently approved kind of A through G classes. So they do meet that G requirement for college admissions, and you get some really neat experience. And this class also has like a certification, which means you're earning something beyond just the credits on your transcript. It's their food handler certification, which means if you want to go work in a restaurant, like when I was in college, I worked at Islands and I had to have this certification. So you're getting it in this class, which is kind of cool. Our patient care pathway, I know at the Brea Junior High, you have medical careers or exploring medical careers. So this kind of feeds into our patient care pathway with Mr. McCall. So he teaches medical careers and sports medicine and therapy. And then our BITA program, which I know you have at Brea Junior High, we have BITA 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's a 4-year academy. We encourage you to start as a 9th grader. However, if you don't start in 9th grade, you can totally still join your sophomore or junior year. Mr. Axtell is always welcoming new students, and you get a lot of hands-on learning with construction and architecture and using some neat computer software and some really cool things that he has in his classroom in terms of machines and different things like that. And then our GITA program, so our Global Information Technology Academy. It's another 4-year academy. It kind of, you're exploring computer science and advanced computer science classes feed into our GITA pathway. However, if you haven't taken computer science at the junior high, that's totally fine. And we still encourage you to look out for information about GITA in the upcoming month. Again, it's a 4-year academy, and students do so many neat things, learning about the behind the scenes of computer software and different things that are necessary for the world of work when you're leaving high school. So those are the 6 pathways that we offer here at the high school. And like I said, I know it's a lot of information, a lot of different classes, but just keep that in mind as you're thinking about what you envision your high school experience to be. You don't need to join next year as a 9th grader, but you can test out some of the classes in your sophomore and junior years. Right.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can email us. Those are our email addresses. Hopefully you can see them. And then also we have posted here the flyer that you guys received with all the links for the next 2 presentations. So make sure that you guys know where that is so that you can click on it and see those presentations. And with that,
and don't forget to follow on Instagram, BOHS Counseling. Mrs. Kessel manages that, and she puts out a lot of cool things that we might be doing in the counseling department or at the high school. So follow that now so you're prepared when you get here and you're already in the loop. We're excited to have you as 9th graders next year.
definitely.
And I don't know if Mr. Stelmar and Miss McDonald, if there are some common questions that you received on the Q&A that you want to answer through the video chat. Silence.
There it is.
Hello, sorry about that. No, just some questions about, what time does school start, things like that. Right now, school starts at 8 o'clock with first period. During a normal school year, which we all hope we will have next year, it'll end at 2:35. There is opportunities for a 0 period. If you do a 7-period day, that means you'll start at 7 in the morning. Although there is legislation out there that may be enforced for next school year where the school day will start half an hour later. So we could be starting at 8:30 in the morning for first period. I don't know if that's an absolute certainty yet. So Right now, this year, if it wasn't during distance learning, we'd start at 8 o'clock with first period and end at 2:35 for sixth period. Some other questions that, let me talk to, how about Mrs. McDonald at the beginning? I think that might have been the biggest question that we got was like,
Yeah.
and then the minimum number of classes to take, you have to take at least 6 classes. So you can't have 5, can't have 4, can't have 1, gotta have
Right,
6.
but if you're a senior
Yeah.
and you are on track to graduate and you have 180 credits at the start of your senior year, you could take 5 classes your senior year.
Right. So yeah, but those are like the basic questions that we got. We have like 367 of you in here right now. I am thrilled about that. Thank you so much for participating today. We'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. You probably even know what that reference means. But we'll see you soon. Okay. Thanks so much for coming. Have a great day. See you next week.
We're still